Hello, hello. Hidden Hermit here with the High Priestess from the Waite already revealed. So here is the High Priestess. Personally, I'm a huge fan of this card. I'm a huge fan of what it means symbolically, what it's trying to say when it comes out in a spread. I love the High Priestess. I actually love her. Not in the same way that I love the Queen of Wands, but I do love her. I really appreciate her when she comes out. And I have to say, the High Priestess from the Waite is my favourite depiction of the High Priestess. Hands down, bar none. Yeah, lots of other decks have really cool High Priestesses, but she's definitely my favourite of all the High Priestesses. And there's a lot going on in this card. Probably far more than what I understand, you know. I mean, I can pick stuff out, but there's going to be stuff that I'm going to miss, absolutely. So let's start with the image itself. So there's a huge Kabbalah influence in the High Priestess card. So you have the Pillar of Mercy and the Pillar of Severity here. And what do they mean? Well, I'm not going to go into the Kabbalah. I'm trying to remember their names, Boaz and Yachim. They mean lots of things. It doesn't stop there. You have this veil behind her, and the veil is important. Emblazoned with these pomegranates, which again is important, but they're positioned in the order of the Tree of Life. So you can see Keter up here, Chokmah. Yeah, so it's the Tree of Life that's rather fancily been embroidered onto this veil. And yeah, do you know what? These plants here, I don't know what they mean. These are pomegranates, which you know, suggests the Greek myth of Persephone, how she went to the she basically married Hades and had to spend half of her life, half of the year down in the underworld. And the pomegranate is what she lived on. You know, the symbolic meaning of the pomegranate and the seed of life is also prevalent in here. But let's crack on, shall we? The High Priestess herself is dressed in white and blue to suggest the element of water. She's an incredibly feminine card, in the same way that the Magician denotes that masculine outer world, the idea that you can use tools to bring magic into your life. This is the feminine ideal of using your intuition and higher learning to bring magic into your life, as it were. Very feminine again. I like to think of her as the maiden to the Empress's mother. And indeed the Empress is the next card, so you get this nice little journey you're going on here. And then there's the moon symbolism. You've got the triple goddess. Well, it's kind of, you got half moons here. It's not the full symbol, but that's what her headdress is symbolizing. There's a full moon and crescent moons, and indeed you have another crescent moon entwined in her robes there, that sort of crinkle up to suggest water. If the water symbolism is not hitting you, then she is sitting behind. She is sitting in front of a big body of water here. A landscape that I think is 8 in the Two of Swords. I like to think that the Two of Swords could be justice, but I also like to think that it's the High Priestess in her nightie. What else is going on? There is a cross, a very Christianized cross that she's wearing on her breast there. Again, to denote some sort of religious learning. And she has this scroll here as well with Torah written on here. Torah, again, could denote religious learning. You could also mix up the letters and get tarot, almost, not quite. But it's a very powerful image. I like to think that the expression on her face, this one of sort of serenity, is a very passive... yeah, it's passive and contemplative as well. But yeah, I think it's the expression on her face that draws me most to this card. It's almost in the center of the card, and it is a really peaceful vibe. The High Priestess, astrologically, whether this is right or wrong, and I do somewhat disagree with it, but it does denote to the planetary influence of the moon. So you get that idea of you know, the balance and the duality. The High Priestess is indeed between the two pillars here, and the middle path on the Tree of Life. The middle pillar is the one of balance. So the High Priestess really does give you an idea that, yes, the moon does wax and wane. You get dark moons and full moons, but the High Priestess is really straddling the kind of half moon, the one of balance, serenity, peace, that bridge between logic and reason and intuition and higher consciousness, if you like. When you think about the High Priestess, you are tapping into your intuitive feminine side. You're going with your guts, is what I like to think about when the High Priestess comes up. She always, when she comes up in a reading for me, she's kind of there to remind me that, you know, there is more to my understanding of the world and my place in it than just logic and reason, than, you know, your environment. You need to think about things on a higher, elevated and spiritual level, which is why I love her so much. Ah, the High Priestess. If she comes up reverse, now, I've spent, you know, how long have I spent? Almost 6 minutes, and I'm merely scratching the surface of the meaning of the High Priestess, and there's so much meaning and symbology and a lot of richness to be divined from when the High Priestess comes up. But when she comes up reversed, it just tells me that I'm not using my intuition. Perhaps my judgment is being clouded a little bit, and perhaps my intuition's perhaps being blocked by whether it's my left hand brain that's just getting in the way. Maybe it's just a little bit of masculine stubbornness. But that, for me, it's quite a simple message when she comes up reverse. It's like your intuition's blocked, or you're not using it. You're likely blocking it yourself, because no matter what people say, it's actually easy to tap into your intuition. It doesn't require a great deal of thought or effort. You just do it. You just, you know, you just succumb to it in a way. You kind of give up. You kind of give up all the buzzing in your head and just give in to it, accept it. So it's a very simple message when the High Priestess comes up reversed, and the actual act of putting her right side up is, I think, very, very easy. Very easy. Simple, clear message, as opposed to when she comes up upright, because it's got so much depth and meaning. She is the moon, as opposed to the moon, and again, it's something that I don't struggle with it, I just disagree with it a little bit. I think the High Priestess can denote the nicer aspects of the moon. The moon card does have some sort of negative connotations, probably in more equal measure to its positive, whereas the High Priestess for me is more of a positive energy, you know, because she's straddling that middle pillar, I like to think. So yeah, there's the High Priestess, my favourite High Priestess image from the Waite. I adore her. She's amazing. So yeah, thank you, High Priestess. I really want to give her a name. I don't know. And well, you know, if you're donating the High Priestess some sort of historical energy, then, you know, Isis comes to mind, Ishtar, Inanna, even no, I'll stop there because they seem to fit. So that's the High Priestess from the Waite. Thank you very much.